Welcome to the Lakeshow podcast. It's a weekly deep dive into the biggest stories and topics surrounding the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by my Spectrum SportsNet co-host, Chris McGee. That was a bad drum roll. And our Laker insider, Mike Bresnahan. Hi, guys.
What's happening?
How are we doing?
Hi.
First week of the offseason. Official week.
Too
The first
soon.
thing Geeter did when addressing me this morning, or today, this afternoon. Haven't seen you in a long time.
Haven't seen it in a long time. Last time we were all together was Shellback
That's right.
Oh, thought it was.
That was fun.
after exit interviews.
Great interview. It's a great day. Great afternoon.
Our last pod, I thought, was
apparently
I
still
thought
there.
that was the season finale, but we're back in another season right now.
Yeah.
We are. How we feel?
Good.
It's weird because there's such a long time till something's going to happen. I mean, the draft isn't until the end of June. We have some space. We have some time. You know, we're going to fill it by watching other games, right?
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a little bit of a sadness.
I watched
There's
some
not-
Game 7s
Yeah, right?
over the weekend. That was fun.
I watched Golden State, Minnesota yesterday.
I was going to say, how about some other games? How great did the Wolves look?
Well, exactly, right?
I
First
told
of
you
all-
guys last week what would hurt is if they came out and played like crap.
Shot 12 of 76.
I mean, listen, they were 7 for
15 to
47 when they
76.
played the Lakers in Game 5. They
Yeah,
just
you're
happened
right.
to win that game.
And they still won.
But they had a horrible showing. It was a really ugly game.
I went right to...
Props to the Warriors, though, winning without Steph.
Yeah, no doubt. I went right to what if the Lakers had advanced? Lakers would be off the charts. It would be awesome. You know, it just made me a little sad.
How about the Denver resurgence?
I know.
I had them
pretty
left
crazy.
for they were down
42.
2-1. They were looking like
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron
Two
Gordon's
last
awesome.
second shots already in the playoffs.
They played great in Game
How about
7.
Nikola, though? 42, 22, and 17.
Their comeback
is that?
their comeback was crazy. It looked like a little inexperience on OKC's part. I know that's how they roll, but there was a couple instances there where they fouled way too early. You know, there was Jokic was off the floor and they were down 3. They had no timeouts to get him back on the floor and they fouled right away.
Yeah.
So instead of maybe letting them burn a little time getting across, then you foul, less time. It was really interesting.
there's
They were
some
fouling
weirdness.
so quickly. In hindsight, it's 2020, but still took an unbelievable, 2 misses by Chet and then,
Right.
Russ with a great pass to Aaron Gordon and him to hit a big-time shot. So
Anyone see the Pacers going up 2-0 on the Cavs?
I did. That was crazy, too.
I mean,
finish.
expect it. Anyone
I
see
definitely
that coming?
don't know.
I definitely didn't expect it, but when you look at DeAndre Hunter being hurt, Mobley being out, and Garland hurt, then you expect it. But the way they lost Game 2 was with that meltdown was really tough to watch. This should be 1-1, but I don't know if they have a chance in the series without those guys. And I don't know the extent to everyone's injury. Garland's been, 4 games you were saying to
He's
me
missed
before we
4
went on the
now.
air?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those toe injuries can be tough.
It's hard to win, man, in the playoffs when you're missing key guys. It really is.
I just saw only 5 teams have rallied back after dropping the first 2 on their home floor, going down 0-2. Only 5 teams in the history.
That's really tough to do.
You got to
really
get
tough
healthy
to do.
first, period.
And then how about 63s? The Celtics shot 63s.
And they missed a record 47,
made
is that
15
right?
of them.
15.
They missed 45 threes. That's more than half the NBA even attempts.
That's ridiculous. Look, I respect that team, Allie, but, I mean, come on. Yeah, obviously, they won it all last year. They led the league in threes, right, all last season. But after a while, it's like, show me something else. Don't jack up 63s and expect to make, 40 of them. Show me something else. And I'm glad they lost. Maybe they'll show us a little bit more diversity in that offense.
I'm thinking those teams will all be 1-1 after 2. But the one I'm pretty confident will be the Celtics. They are the champs. I feel like they will bounce back and win that Game 2. But I don't know, man. Minnesota, Warriors, you just never know. And who knows? Denver with no pressure on them in Game 2. Even though I think OKC's favored by 10.
I would have bet a lot of money on OKC Boston or OKC Cleveland. Just OKC plus either of those two. I would have put a lot of money on that. But you kind of trick yourself into thinking this team's really good. They won 67 games, 65 games, whatever it was. They're young. This team has very little playoff experience with each other. You got guys like Caruso who are champions, but I got tricked into thinking OKC's they're going to roll. They're going to sweep their way to right to the NBA Finals.
JB Bickerstaff got fired by the Cavs last year for having back-to-back great seasons, winning a playoff round, losing to the Celtics with 4 starters out, but playing them pretty tight. He lost his job. It's just interesting that they're right back here, missing guys after, but even, phenomenal regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone expected them to be battling Boston. Could they beat them? Everyone forgot about Indiana. Indiana can play, man.
Miles Turner,
Indiana can play.
free agent.
I feel like we just summed up the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, so off to
All
the
right,
off
end of the
season we
show.
go.
Yeah.
End of the show. I guess the biggest news. This is the first time we've done the pod since this news has dropped, correct? Regarding LeBron James and the MCL
Yep.
sprain, and obviously the Game 5 loss to the Wolves. Missed the Met Gala because of it.
It's a big deal.
It's okay though. Savannah looked wonderful,
Yes.
standing in
Cheers.
his place.
She did.
Yeah.
She did a great job.
I think maybe we just kind of start there. Fortunately, but unfortunately, obviously, 3 to 5 week recovery there for LeBron. At this stage of his career, when you just kind of heard that news,
Yeah. Season's over.
if they would have been playing, you
Oh,
mean?
if they'd have been playing, that
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have been. I mean, if they'd have won that Game 5,
You're without him, right?
you're not. I don't think you're winning in 7 without LeBron.
Yeah.
You know, crazier things have happened, but
So that's the fortunate news on your side, is he does have all summer
yes.
to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Full
no
summer.
Olympics,
No international
no
play.
playing. He'll be healthy.
And that's a good ligament to sprain. Obviously, you don't want to tear your ACL. And a sprain, let's call it definition-wise, is an actual tear. Okay, so you don't want to sprain your ACL. You don't want to tear your ACL. That's 9 months or so. Then you have a PCL and an MCL. If there's a ligament you want to strain, it's the MCL, because in about a month you're going to be fine. LeBron probably needed to download a little bit. Just kind of season's over, a little too quickly, I'm sure, for his taste. So, sprained MCL, not the end of the world. He'll be back, probably up and running early June, something like that.
In case you didn't know, Brez's dad was a doctor.
Yes, he was.
Is a doctor.
I just pretend I am one.
Sound great. All right, so from LeBron to Luka, according to Tim McMahon of ESPN, who covers the Dallas Mavericks,
Yes,
so
very
has
good
covered
reporter.
Luka, obviously, reporting that he is fully committed to the Lakers and wants to win championships.
Great. That's a
With
great
them.
thing to hear.
I was going to say, as a Laker fan, you love to hear it.
I mean, yeah, you can't relax until he's signed. You just can't. But, I think everything's been pointing to that, and to hear it from, reported from Tim, that's also strong. I know they went to dinner the other night.
Mm-hmm. Craig's.
Would have loved to have got the invite to that. Craig's good, huh?
Craig's is good.
Good Italian food. And Tim McMahon also, by the way, he's the one who put that tweet out maybe a day after the trade, saying that, the Dallas Mavericks did this because conditioning reasons. So Tim is very dialed into the Dallas thinking, and also apparently to Luka's agents and his reps and Luka's thinking. So he is the premier right now. He and maybe Mark Stein too, the premier Luka reporters on this continent. So if he's saying something, it's looking good. Whatever that is, probably gonna be true.
He is extension eligible starting August 2nd. How do you just kind of wrap your mind around, we talked about it on the show yesterday, but kind of this first couple of months, obviously, for Luka in a Laker uniform, and were there things that kind of stood out to you in regards to, as we just heard Rob and JJ discuss it at their postseason press conference, or end of season press conference, the roster that needs to be built in terms of around your stars, Luka?
Rob, right away, you and I were listening here, Geet. He said, within probably 5-10 minutes, someone asked, okay, what needs to be done? He said, there's a, quote, very clear and obvious need for us. It's a center. Very clear and obvious. And then he said, we have to have the, quote, requisite size to compete, because they didn't. In the last 2 games, your starting center played 4.5 minutes of the Minnesota series. You've got to improve that. They know that. If we're talking about it, trust me, they already know about it. And I think that's going to be the sole focus of their offseason. Who can they get? It's probably going to have to be a sign and trade. You're not going to find a lot of guys who are going to be your starter willing to take the taxpayer mid-level of about $6 million. We don't know exactly what that'll be, but it's not a huge number in a league where the average salary is more than twice that, Geet.
You truly want to win a championship, you have to defend.
Yeah.
Just look at all the great teams. Look at all the ones that make it. Look at all the teams that win. Have to be able to do that. You can even look at the 2020 Lakers. Got to be good enough offensively, obviously. You got to be able to hit timely shots. You got to have enough guys that get threes. You got to spread the floor, all that stuff. But you have to defend. Winning championship teams in this league now, it's just the way it's played, the length, the ability to switch. You're watching the Warriors without a center. But Draymond is a generational talent on the defensive end, in my opinion. Matched up against Şengün at the end of that game. I don't want to, maybe it was 5. Maybe it was game 4 and they went up 3-1. But, he was absolutely phenomenal in that last play. Steven Adams was got some offensive rebounds, but the Warriors were playing the way they play. but guys that defend hard. Butler coming over, kind of changing that mindset. Listen, Steph Curry gets picked on, but Steph's a good team defender. You know what I mean? He does his job, right? He can get beat off the dribble just like a lot of guys are, but, they have enough to support that along the way, and they always have. So, OKC, I mean, you watch Caruso out there, he's fun to watch, man. Like, you got to, the whole team got to be able to defend. So, Lakers know that. Lakers know that. I mean, listen, LeBron James, towards the end of since when Luka came, LeBron became one of their primary defenders, one of their best defenders, because AD was gone, Max was gone, and he kind of saw. Remember that first game when Luka was sitting on the sideline watching?
Clippers.
That was like prime LeBron defense, but he was kind of sending a message like, "This is how we got to play, and I have to be that guy."
That was amazing.
No, bro, he gave everything he had in that final run defensively.
Do you subscribe to my theory that they need more bench scoring too? Okay, they were second from the bottom in the regular season, and second to last in bench scoring in the first round of the playoffs too.
Yeah, for sure, Brez. I always kind of go with like it's more for me like, especially in the playoffs, they just need impactful bench guys, whether it's defensively, hitting a couple key shots, and I actually liked our bench, but I agree with you. Yeah, in the regular season. Those are long. That's a long year. You got to have some sort of pop off that bench. And, they got it for a bit when Dorian and Gabe could get it going, but you almost need, how am I trying to say? You need like, I don't want to say an AR type, but a guy that can handle the ball and create for others and himself off the bench. That's kind of a specialist. I would like to have that. Remember Malik Monk used to be able to just get 20 when they had him. When Reeves was coming off the bench, he was able to get 20. Just that kind of guy is nice to have. And because come playoff time, you're not going to get 25 minutes.
Oh, sure.
But like a Naz Reid or what he was able to do, guys like that can come off the bench and get it done.
DiVincenzo.
Even
though he was 2 for 12 in the last
but you know
game
what I'm saying?
but
that type of guy.
Yeah. They had that guy. They had D'Lo, okay? And they traded him a few days after Christmas. He was going to get his 14, 15 off the bench. But you acquired what you were talking about, a defender.
Yeah.
In Dorian Finney-Smith. Yeah, I think you make that trade 10 times out of 10.
Oh, 1,000%.
But now this offseason, to me, is chasing what they gave up in their two big trades.
Yeah.
A big man who can block shots, get rebounds, maybe stretch the court a little bit more than AD could. He had a nice mid-range alley, but kind of went in and out of shooting the threes. It was never really consistent. And then, of course, when you unload a guy like D'Angelo, who, had his faults, of course, but he could score you, 15 off the bench.
Yeah.
So they're going to be chasing, I think, those two types of players during the offseason with not much money to spend.
Yeah.
I sense a trade coming for sure.
Yeah.
Miles Turner an option still this summer?
Well, here's the problem for the Lakers. If Indiana keeps winning,
they're going to the Eastern Conference. I mean,
You're
most likely they're going
more.
to the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah. Now, he's unrestricted free agent, but the team that you're on can always add an extra year to the contract. I like how the NBA does that. They incentivize teams to keep their free agents and free agents to stay with your teams. Now, so they can offer him one more year than the Lakers can and more money too every year. So if Indiana keeps winning, and they don't really have a clear-cut center behind him, so they might break out
I
the
always
bank
think
and pay him.
I think people, because he's such a great name, I would Miles Turner would be awesome, but like he makes $20 million
Exactly.
and he already plays for this team, and he's played there for a long time, and they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals again, most likely, and maybe they want him back, and they're going to give him more money, so just like you don't just go, I'm going to go here because I want to.
Yeah, he's definitely not going to sign for the $6 million mid-level. Yeah. So it would have to be a sign and trade. We'll give you these guys and a draft pick.
I love Miles Turner.
We'll take Miles Turner.
I've always been infatuated with that Miles Turner, the Lakers deal that just has never happened. There's a ton of those guys that just were always supposed to be in a Laker uniform because that's what the rumors always said, but it never happened.
Rob did say he wants three types of a center to have three attributes. Okay, spread the floor. Okay, Miles Turner can do that. Block shots, he definitely does that. He's always like top 5 in blocks, and a lob threat. That's not quite his game. Not a huge rebounder either. About 6-7 rebounds a game for him. Why? Because he's outside the arc the entire time on offense, right? So he gives you 2 of the 3, maybe 2 of the 4 things you're looking for. But I love his game, and he's scoring 20 a game, seemingly in the playoffs. Every time I look at that box score, it's like, Miles Turner goes off again. Yeah. So he'd be great.
Could Dalton Connect be a scorer off the Laker bench?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
He gets buckets.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
For 37 in a game before?
We've been saying all these years, where's the Lakers' third star? And they had it on the roster the entire time, Austin Reeves. Yeah. So maybe they have that bench scorer that I'm talking about just chilling.
There was some news coming out about him as well.
Toe?
Austin, toe injury.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of makes sense when you watch that series.
Yeah. You know what he did, though? Played.
He gave everything he had.
He really did.
To what I believe he could go. And I thought during the series he was a little... I know he wasn't playing as well as he wanted to in games 1 and 5. But he wasn't doing things we were used to him seeing, and now it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
The elevation, the explosion,
Yes.
be able to move. And yep.
The shot was off a little bit.
Yep.
Sometimes a lot of times short.
So when we talk about, obviously, roster reconstruction and what will take place this offseason, Rob Pelinka will have his hands full and be a busy man. Coming into that conversation, NBA Executive of the Year voting was announced. I don't think you can be surprised that it was Sam Presti. He won it this year. Rob Pelinka finished 6th. But what we learned yesterday during the show, as Dave Ramazano mentioned in my head, it's the first time he's won the award.
Sam Presti?
That's crazy.
Yes.
Like, most people would call him the GOAT.
Literally. Isn't that wild?
I mean, he's one of the GOATs of the position, at least in the modern NBA. Obviously, you go Jerry West, but I mean, Sam Presti, what he's been able to do. I mean,
that was a shock to me.
It's ridiculous.
Why?
How many picks do they have? 99? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
Why are these votes so weird? Phil Jackson won Coach of the Year award once. The year the Bulls won 70 games or whatever it was. He won it once. The best coach probably ever. He won 1 Coach of the Year. Sam Presti, the best GM of the last 20 years, he's won 1 Executive of the Year award, and it's now.
Brez, you know what I love that they did? Remember last year, we were kind of hoping for that OKC Laker matchup in the playoffs. We felt the Lakers matched up really well with him. Chet just wasn't there yet. AD would feast. The Lakers matched up well on the perimeter. And we all thought, like, they're a little thin here, a little thin there. He went out and got 2 guys that just fit, Hartenstein and Caruso.
Yeah.
They didn't make, and by the way, the Bulls got no picks.
They got nothing for
I
Caruso,
don't understand.
right?
Like,
second rounder, maybe?
So not only is he getting perfect fits every year, just little bit, he doesn't panic, and he fleeces guys while he's doing it.
He really does, with a smile. He's like the nicest guy ever, right?
So, yeah, Sam's legit. He earned it.
Yeah. And then NBA Coach of the Year was announced. JJ Redick was also someone who finished 6th. Kenny Atkinson won the award.
It's the right pick.
Right pick.
It's the right pick. I mean, you got to look at Detroit and Bickerstaff and his people. I mean, when you go from winning 14 games last year to making a dent in the first round.
Plus 30, I think they went.
Is that what it was?
Plus 36 or something. No, plus, plus 30.
I mean, you got to think about him and the job he did in Detroit.
And just because I'm not looking at the end, they won 14
games. They're the worst team in the league.
But they only won 14?
And then almost beat the Knicks in the playoffs.
Exactly.
I mean, legit. I knew it was not great, but
legit.
They were awful.
Remember, the Cavs were already really good.
Yeah.
But they had a magical year.
Yeah.
So did OKC. It's hard to pick, man.
It's a tough award.
Yeah.
And one more award. A guy who only won 1 award once. Kobe, MVP only once. I mean, when you look at some of these great players over the years and coaches and executives, their number doesn't get called enough. And it's
Shaq won it once in 2000.
Oh, Shaq won it once?
During that 3-peat year, he only won it once. Yeah, he was almost unanimous, but they went with, there was a vote for, Fred Coleman? Who was that? Voted for Iverson, yeah.
Okay. Oh, good memory.
It's a big, busy off season for the Lakers, and it has begun. Lakeshow fans, remember, you can be a part of this show each week. Feel free to send us your questions and comments. We'd love to hear from you. We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll hear from JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka on the Lakers' Big 3. Welcome back to the Lakeshow Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, you can check out more original podcasts from our Spectrum News journalists on the Spectrum News app. Just head to the podcast section to listen to the latest episodes. You can download the Spectrum News app on the App Store or Google Play. Let's hear from JJ Redick on the adjustment the Lakers made after acquiring Luka Doncic.
These things take time, particularly with star players. There's a reason in the modern NBA history, you go back the last 30, 40 years, there's been a handful or less than a handful of all-star players traded in season that led directly to a championship. These things take time. So I think there's a great benefit in a full off season. I know those guys will be communicating. Hopefully we can get them together at some point for some sort of mini camp. And then going through training camp preseason, again, that's sort of where you build the foundation and the building blocks for the rest of the year. I think there's value in repetition and frankly, we didn't get a ton of repetition, and that's the nature of making an in-season trade. But certainly feel very confident and very optimistic about those three going forward.
I'll just add to that, too. I think when your foundation for those three players is that they're players of high character and a highly competitive nature, that's the perfect starting point. To have three players like that. LeBron's a selfless player, high character. All he cares about is winning. Luka Doncic, the same. Austin Reeves, the same. I think when you get those three pillars in a training camp environment and you're starting to build an ethos around them, that's a great starting point. And we didn't have that opportunity this year, but we will next year.
LeBron, Luka, and Austin. Do you guys agree with JJ's kind of thinking on how a full year with them together will make a big difference, and that just simply it does take time?
I would say partly yes, because Luka showed up in the shape that he was in. He hadn't played in a few months. You got to get him up and running. He watched the first couple games from the bench with the Lakers. I mean, it's one thing for the Lakers to acquire, as they did in 2008, Geet, a fully healthy Pau Gasol, plug and play, and you have an amazing end of regular season and a great 2-month playoff run until Game 6 in Boston when you lose in the finals. But Pau was healthy and ready to go, and he's exactly what the Lakers needed. I feel like the Lakers needed a couple other things, including this shot-blocking center, which is what they traded to get Luka, of course, Geet.
Yeah, I mean, I think, those guys I think JJ makes a great point. I mean, I think those three guys, a training camp together, learning how to play together more. Like, I give the Lakers a lot of credit because it looked really good sometimes. And that's not easy to do. They changed you've talked about it, they changed their style completely on the fly. And, so definitely a training camp helps and all that kind of stuff.
All right, this is some fun to end the podcast with. Some fantasy thinking. Giannis Antetokounmpo. According to Howard Beck, if Giannis asks out of Milwaukee, he would look at the big cities. I did see Los Angeles. It could be either team. The New York team's either team, Miami and Chicago, possibly Houston.
Everyone says Houston because of the assets, right? You can trade some youth and some picks.
I would love to see Giannis in Chicago. Bring that franchise back.
That would revitalize them.
Just unless he's coming to the Lakers, which we know is you don't come to the West. Stay in the East.
Yesterday he was like, I want him in the West. I'm like, what?
So the West is loaded. Can we just get anything going in the East at all?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You've got friends on the Warriors staff. What about Giannis with Golden State?
There was always talk about that. Yeah. There was always talk about that back in the day.
Yeah. But you're right.
Let's keep him
in the East.
It'd have to be a Hall.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a Hall.
Send him to Brooklyn.
Wait, there was one more. Was there not one more fun one? Oh, shoot. That was it. Let's sit here and ponder over Giannis.
I thought it was a fun game, and that was just one.
Do you think Giannis?
Question.
Do you think he gets traded?
I think it's fair for him to ask. I don't know if he will. I think it's fair, though.
If he was first round in Game 7, okay, that stinks. But you lose Lillard and you get crushed in the first round. It's like Lillard's he's gonna be out a year.
I was gonna say, and you're
old,
not having,
That's as much as I love the Giannis and Milwaukee story, it feels like there's some finality to it.
Hey, he got a ring there.
Yep,
he did his job.
Yeah, the first ring since 71.
He's given him everything he's ever you could ask for. He's never asked out. He's never had any problems. He's never demanded. I think Giannis has done. Yeah, he's been great. If he wants to play somewhere else for the latter part of his career, why not?
Totally understand.
A lot of guys have done it.
Anything that you guys have anything that has your panties in a bunch? Skims, not skims? I love this segment. Brett, today would be your opportunity. I know you've got something over there.
We need Brett Cam.
He can't. Oh,
Brett is upset because his Cavs are down 0-2, and he basically is saying, when are we going to do something differently? Last year, we got to the playoffs shorthanded and hurt, and this year we're doing the same thing. So he's upset. He's pissed. And
we're not talking to him.
I'm staying away from him. Even Nacho's sitting 9 feet away from him.
The worst part for Brett, the NFL's right around the corner, and we know how bad the Browns are going to be.
The Browns are terrible.
It's only going to get worse for Brett.
I mean, listen.
How are the Guardians?
You know what? The Guardians are a good baseball team.
Okay, you got baseball.
Yeah, in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's something. That's something.
Let's just say this. Brett's teams all suck. And it's just...
And we have to put up with it. Thanks to all of you for listening to the Lakeshow podcast. If you like what you hear, leave us a rating and review on a favorite podcast app. For Geeter, for Brez, for Allie Clifton.
Get over here, Nacho.
See you next week. Come on, Nacho. Show your face.
Hey, man, get over here.
Did you know there's a new way to watch your favorite team, and it's available exclusively to Spectrum customers this season? You can watch Lakers games on Spectrum SportsNet Plus with the NBA app on us when you add internet and at least one mobile line. This offer is a slam dunk total value of $194.99. To learn more, head to spectrum.com/getlakers.